Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We've got some huge gaming news to dive into this week. Sony just confirmed their State of Play is happening, and it's packed with updates with over 20 games. Plus, if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, get ready for even more brutal finishers in the new expansion. And we've got some news in the fact that Frostpunk 2 is already a massive success right after launch. So, stick around because I'm going to break down all the details from PlayStation's latest to Xbox Game Pass goodies and some other exciting releases you won't want to miss. So, first off, let's dive into the big PlayStation news. Their next State of Play is officially set for September 4th, which is today while I'm recording this. You want to tune in at 3 p.m. Pacific or 6 p.m. Eastern. Sony's promising over 20 games, and that's quite a bit of content packed into just a 30-minute show. Now the big question is, what can we expect? Right off the bat, I think it's safe to say that Spider-Man 2 DLC is going to be a highlight. I mean, the base game is already a huge hit, and the idea of more content, especially with the success of the game, is super exciting. We're going to see new villains, maybe a little more exploration of Peter and Miles' partnership. I'm all about it, so we'll see. But that's not all. We're also expecting some big news around Death Stranding 2. Kojima fans, where you at? The first game was, well, let's just say divisive. Some people liked it, some people didn't. If the first one was for you, then this one will probably be for you. But Death Stranding 2 could really elevate the weirdness to a whole new level. With Hideo Kojima, you never know what's coming. We've already seen some cryptic teasers, and if we get some more gameplay footage or more story insight, that's gonna get everyone talking, I'm sure. I personally didn't play the first one. It is currently on my wish list, on my Steam wish list. I have a massive backed up list of games that I need to go through and play, but that is one that I'm planning on going and, playing through. But moving on from that, the rumor mill is buzzing about Ghost of Tsushima 2. I mean, a lot of people definitely want that game. The first game was visually stunning and had that amazing combat system, and, I come a little bit from the game dev world, and a big talk from that game is the grass. Apparently, the grass system in that game was pretty unique, and it should look pretty good on the PS5 or PS5 Pro for those of you that are going to get it. This is also a game that, the first one, this is also a game that I have not dived into. Also a game that's on my wish list that I need to go back and play. It's kind of the thing with a lot of Sony games is I add them onto my wish list and then, just haven't got around to a lot of them. I've gotten around to a few of them like Horizon and Days Gone, and I'm sure there's a few others in there, but those are the ones that come to mind. But on top of this, we can't forget that PlayStation's 30th anniversary is just around the corner. Could we see some special announcement? Maybe a remaster or even limited edition hardware? I wouldn't be surprised if Sony uses this moment to drop some nostalgia bombs, like remakes of collections of classic games. Remember the rumors about a Metal Gear Solid remake? That would definitely create some buzz. Also, anytime something like this happens, people always bring up Bloodborne, and that would obviously be a massive drop if they announced that. I've already seen tons of speculation about them announcing a Bloodborne remaster, so, that talk always happens anytime Sony is doing any kind of announcement, so we will see. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. Honestly, this might be one of Sony's biggest shows of the year, hopefully, because right now they don't really have a lot of, first-party stuff. Especially with the PS5 Pro announcement recently. There was a lot of talk about Sony, lacking in new IP and such, so maybe we'll get some new IP announcements, but we'll just have to see. Alright, so moving on to Xbox news, let's talk about the new Game Pass drops this week, because there's a lot of cool stuff coming your way. Whether you're into strategy, narrative-driven games, or even a bit of Overwatch 2 perks, there's something for everyone. First up, we've got Ara, History Untold, coming on September 24th. This one's a big deal for strategy fans. It's a historical grand strategy game where you get to lead your nation through different eras of history. It's kind of like Civilization, but with a fresh take. If you're into managing resources, building an empire, and conquering the world, this is the game for you. Personally, I haven't dived into a lot of strategy games, but I'd like to see how deep the strategy goes and what kind of unique leaders or tech you can unlock. And for all the Overwatch 2 players, Game Pass is throwing in some perks starting today. You can snag 6 hero skins and 30 Mystic Prisms for free. You gotta log in before October 21st to claim the goodies, but it's a nice bonus if you're into cosmetics. Plus there's an XP boost, so you can grind your way to unlocking some more content even faster. So yeah, whether you want to dive into history, unravel a mystery, or just grab some sweet skins in Overwatch 2, Game Pass has you covered this week. Let me know in the comments which one you're planning on checking out, if any of them. Alright, so we're going to dive into some Mortal Kombat details because the Khaos Reigns Expansion is releasing today also, which is adding a ton of new content to Mortal Kombat 1. This expansion is called Havoc's Reign of Chaos, and it's going to level up a bit of your experience in the game. First off, we've got the Khaos Reigns story expansion where you'll face off against Havoc and his chaotic plans. It's a continuation of the story with some new chapters to dive into. Now let's talk characters. Combat Pack 2 is packed with fighters. At launch, we're getting Noob Saibot, Cyrax, and Sector, 3 classic characters returning to the roster. But that's not all, because post-launch, we'll get some crazy guest fighters. We're going to be getting Ghostface from Scream, T-1000 from Terminator 2, and Conan the Barbarian. The guest characters will have 1 week early access if you get the expansion, so you can jump into the action for anyone else if you're, into the whole early access thing. If you're wondering about the Combat Pack fighters that are already available, here's the lineup. Omni-Man from Invincible, Quan Chi, Peacemaker, the DC Peacemaker, Ermac, Homelander from The Boys, and Takeda Takashi, I think is how you say that. It's honestly one of the most epic rosters we've seen, and it's all about the mix of comic book, movie, and classic Mortal Kombat characters. And if that wasn't enough, there are cameo fighters that you can use as assist characters during matches. These include Trimmer, Chameleon, Janet Cage, Movado, and Farah. Plus, if you're a Johnny Cage fan, there's a special Jean-Claude Van Damme skin available right now, giving you that retro action hero vibe. So, what are you most excited for in the Khaos Reigns expansion? Are you hyped to play as Ghostface, or reliving some nostalgia with Noob Saibot? Let me know in the comments which fighter you're most excited to try out. Alright, strategy game fans, let's talk about Frostpunk 2, which has absolutely smashed expectations right after launch. Since its release on September 20th, the game has already sold over 350,000 copies, and the estimated revenue has already covered the production and marketing costs. With a $44.99 price tag, it's pulled in close to $16 million before Steam's cut. That's a massive success for the team at 11-Bit Studios, and it's also available on Game Pass, which is no doubt helping it reach even more players. Now, if you've played the first Frostpunk, you know why this is such a big deal. The original game really set the standard for city-building survival games, and Frostpunk 2 builds on that with even more complexity and higher stakes. It's not just about managing resources, it's about making tough, heart-wrenching decisions to keep your people alive in a frozen, post-apocalyptic world. I think what makes Frostpunk 2 resonate so well with players is that every decision matters. It's not just the city builder, it's a survival game where your choices could either save your people or doom them. Fans love the emotional depth that comes with those impossible decisions, and Frostpunk 2 takes that experience even further. I've personally heard a lot of mixed reactions about this game. There's a lot of people that like the new depth and the new changes a lot more. I've also heard a lot of people say that it feels a little bit less personal. From what I've heard, I haven't dived into the game myself, but from what I've heard, it kind of has a little bit of that Frostpunk 1 gameplay a bit, but kind of mixed in with some Civilization mechanics mixed in as well. But if you've tried it already, how's your city doing? Or are you still trying to survive the early game's tough choices? Alright, so let's dive into some of the exciting new releases dropping this week. First up, we've got Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed, launching on September 24th. It's a full remake of the classic 3D platformer, where Mickey uses paint and thinner to either restore or alter the world around him. The updated visuals and smoother controls make it a great choice for both longtime fans and new players who want to explore Disney's forgotten world. This is a game I was thinking about playing. I did not play the original, but I've been, looking into it, and it looks like it could be fun, but what's kind of steering me away is the big $60 price tag that's on it, but yeah, let me know if you're going to try it out. Then we've got Bloomtown, A Different Story, also dropping on September 24th. This is a narrative JRPG set in what looks like a cute 1960s American town. But don't be fooled because things get weird fast. Think turn-based combat with some monster taming and some deep storylines. You play as a 12-year-old girl who realizes things aren't as they seem in her grandpa's town. It's got kind of like an Earthbound vibe with a creepy twist. So if you're into quirky story-driven games, check this one out. Another fun release this week is 3 Minutes to Midnight, a point-and-click adventure out on September 26th. It's packed with humor and tricky puzzles, kind of like the old-school Monkey Island games, so if you love classic adventure games, you should probably check it out. Another note on this game is that it has been released on PC already, but it is coming to consoles on September 26th. And for all the RPG fans, Greedfall 2 enters early access today. It's shaping up to be an even deeper experience than the first game, with more tactical combat and choices that impact the story. If you're into exploring rich worlds with political intrigue and action-packed gameplay, you'll want to jump into early access and get a taste of what's to come. From what I've heard, it's fairly early access, so just keep that in mind. So there's something for everyone this week, whether you're into platformers, adventures, or deep RPGs. Let me know which one you're most excited to try out. But alright, that wraps up this week's gaming news. We covered Sony's State of Play with some big updates and upcoming games, Mortal Kombat 1's brutal new Khaos Reigns Expansion, and the success of Frostpunk 2. Plus, we touched on some new releases like Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed, Greedfall 2 Early Access, and some more. So, what was your favorite announcement this week? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to know what you're most excited about. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the latest gaming news. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned, stay gaming. Peace.